Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I want to present you something very special. This is what you have in front of you is a very special or famed Jamon Iberico, which is an Iberian ham and regarded in Spain as a national treasure. In this video I'm going to show you how to handle, process and maintain it from start to finish. And I will show you the tools that you might need to do so. Just a little background, the Iberian ham is a raw cured ham. There are many types. Of course, the Iberian ham or the pata negra is probably the best of the lot, which is just a better type of pig, and it's more dried in the curation, the longer process, and of course everything is checked much better. So yeah, I mean, these pigs actually have a diet of acorns, purely of acorns, so that gives their meat and their fat an extremely aromatic, nutty flavor, which is really prized. Yeah, I mean, this is the hind leg of the pig, which is the best part to use for this kind of process. Yeah, so you can see basically the fat here on my hands just from touching it. Now that's a very good sign. That's what you want. You see that? That's just the touch. But so I mean, of course, when you're dealing with something like this, temperatures are very important. Of course, if you're gonna store something like this, you want to keep it in a cooler room. When you want to serve it, you want a higher temperature. But I'm gonna get to that. Let's just start by taking a look at all the different parts. So that's the hoof, still on there. Yeah, this is all the. So it's a full leg, yeah? Okay. Now the first thing that we need to do is to put this leg into what is called the traditional stand. So this is what it looks like. The back part, so this part of the leg will go in here. And the top part, the knuckle and the hoof, will go through here. And then it will be tightened so that it becomes stable and that the leg doesn't run away. So, let us begin by adding the leg to the stand. So, you always want to do it upside down, so the hoof should be pointing upwards. And that's a good place to start. And then you want to make sure you get the bottom nail in here. And then just unscrew this part to fit the bone in. And then we tighten it so that we have a nice stable process here. See, now the meat or the leg is very well stabilized. And now I will start to talk about what we need to start cutting and preparing and cleaning it. So here's the leg from another angle. So where do we begin? Before we do so, I believe it's useful to say something about anatomy, right? So each leg has 4 parts. The first part, which is the top part here, which is the area we'll begin in, is called the maza, or the upper flank. The bottom part down here is called la contramasa, which is the lower flank. The end part here is called el punto, and this side here is called la jerete, which is the knuckle. Where we're going to begin is here. We're going to cut a chunk down here through the rind, and then we're going to start taking away some of the upper fat. And that should then eventually start revealing some of the meat. There are 3 knives that I will be using for this. The first one is a strong, hard, heavy knife for me to get through the rind. The second one is a sharper kind of dagger type knife for me to get around the bones. And the third knife, which is a specialized knife, it's called a jamonero, is the knife that I will be using to actually slice the meat. It's very flexible, very elastic, and very thin. and should be able to, very sharp as well, should be able to give me some very nice slices. So we're going to try that. I would also suggest a knife sharpener and some kind of protection from your hand, for your hand. I have basically got a butcher's glove, which just makes sure there's no slippage. This is a very greasy animal, so you know, if you're cutting, there could be room for accidents. So I would suggest that. But you'll see what I have in a minute. So let us begin by making the first cut through the rind, 2 centimeters away from the knuckle. Go down as far as you can. And now you can start to remove some of the skin. Now the reason you should wear a glove is because when you start to cut this side, you might slip, and you'd feel better if you had something like that on. So we want to remove the rind. Now, only as far as we're going to eat today. So, you know, if we're going to not consume the whole thing, then I wouldn't remove the rind from everywhere, nor the fat. Okay, so these pieces of fat we're not going to throw away. We're going to keep them, because after we start slicing the meat and we start eating it, you're going to put this piece back on there to keep it fresh for the next serving. Oh, the aroma is incredible. You can really smell the nuttiness. And it's so oily. Don't know if you can see that, but this is really, really nice. Okay, so we're getting there slowly. You can see now that the fat is starting to show the meat underneath. So as I said, the first slices that we cut, we can keep to layer over the meat later on. And I mean, look at this. This is what we're looking for. Look at that fat, and look how it breaks down. I hope you can see that. That's an indication of high quality. It's literally breaking up in my fingers. So let's start to cut our first slices. Plate. Put that over here. And what you're looking for is very, very, very translucent or transparent pieces. Not too big. And you're putting no pressure. So look at this, for example. Is a very good piece. You got plenty of fat and a nice bit of meat. No bigger than that. Of course, the further down we go, the more meat will start to show itself. What you're trying to do as well is try and keep this whole area flat, so that you don't hit bumps or create anything unnecessary. And this is how it's done. Let's take a look at the jamon from the other side. Now, since I've cut it, you can just see this wonderful fat just oozing out. It's just wonderful. As you can see, I've been cutting some slices already to prepare a plate. I'll just cut another slice or two and then the plate will be ready. Now you might recall earlier on I mentioned there were 3 knives that we use. You've seen the first 2. There's the 3rd knife, which is the bone knife, or some sharp kind of blade like that. Eventually I'm going to get around the hip bone here. So what you'll use this knife for is to basically go down and cut around the hip bone, so that when you do come to the slicing part, the knife is not going to get stuck on the bone or hit the bone. The meat will come off immediately. And that's important to note. Here also you have the knuckle. Later on when I get to this part, I will do the same thing there. And of course, when you turn the leg around, which I'll show you in part 2 once I get to it, there are also some bones and some things to consider there. But yeah, I mean, that's basically the general way to do it that I learned. It's by no means the best way. I'm no professional in this thing, but I have certainly had my fair share of jamon legs that I worked on, having lived in Spain for 15 years. Yeah. So yeah, one other thing, of course, is the temperatures. So I would suggest that if you're not going to eat the leg, or you're only eating one part of it and then you don't plan to eat some for a while, of course you want to cover it up with the fat in all the places to keep everything moist. And you want to get it in a room with between around, well, I'd say between 14 and 18 degrees would probably be ideal. And then for serving it, or for keeping it in a place where you're going to use it frequently, anything from 20 to 25 degrees. Of course, you know, the 25-degree temperature just makes it, makes the fat come out and makes it really, melt on your tongue. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe. More to come. I will also do a part 2 once I turn this leg around, maybe in a week or 2, once I've got there. And I hope you enjoyed it. So until next time. Thanks for watching.